right? But the problem persists. Every headline appears to tell us another story, that supply keeps regenerating, that demand is alive, and perhaps that something in the system isn't really being fixed. Now, this is where things get interesting. When you scroll through Nigerian music video today, what do you see? Blunts in hand, smoke in the air, lyrics soaked in highs, escapes, and altered states. From global superstars like Wizkid and Burna Boy to rising street anthems, weed is no longer hidden. So here's the uncomfortable question. Why do we celebrate it in music, normalize it in pop culture, but criminalize it everywhere else? Why is it cool when a superstar smokes on stage, but suddenly immoral, illegal, or worthy of humiliation when it's someone without fame, influence, or protection? This contradiction sits at the intersection of culture, law, hypocrisy, and youth identity. And it's important that we talk about it. But this is not an anti-agency conversation. Neither is it an anti-artist conversation. It's a serious, honest, grown-up national conversation. We're asking, are we winning this war or just fighting it repeatedly? How should success be measured? And who really should be held accountable? Welcome everyone to the third edition of the TVC Townsquare series, coming to you live from our studios here in Lagos. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. And we are not alone. We are joined by a vibrant live studio audience whose energy, questions, and honesty will fill this conversation, including students from the prestigious University of Lagos. Once again, please put your hands together for yourselves. We also have some officials of NDLEA joining this conversation. Thank you for coming. To everyone watching across Nigeria and beyond, this is your conversation. Join us online right now. Use the hashtag TVC Townsquare. Tag us at TVC News NG and at Nifemi Oguntoye so I can get it as well. Your voice matters. In the Townsquare, we're joined by 4 formidable voices, each a critical stakeholder in taking control of today and protecting our future as we battle against drug abuse. Let me introduce them. First up, we have the chairman of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Abuba Mara, who's represented here by Femi Babafemi, Director of Media and Advocacy of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. He's the public voice of Nigeria's war against drug abuse, WADA. You're welcome. And is the man who communicates to us the number of arrests, seizures, convictions, and the strategy behind the headlines. Mr. Babafemi, welcome to the Townsquare.
Thank you.
Next, we are joined by Honorable Shino Abiola Pella, entrepreneur, nightclub pioneer, former member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, is the founder of Qlux, one of Lagos' most iconic nightlife brands, a space where youth culture, celebrity influence, and social life intersect. He joins us virtually on the Townsquare. Please put your hands together for him. You will like this one. Also with us is the legendary Nigerian music producer and singer Idi Kabasa. As founder of Coda Tunes, he helped launch the careers of some of the biggest names you know today in Afrobeats, like Olamide, Nice, Banky W, Reminisce, and others, shaping the culture and conversations young people live by. He is the real OG before IG. Idi Kabasa, welcome to the Townsquare. And finally, we have Dr. Memuna Yusuf Kadiri, a consultant neuropsychiatrist and mental health advocate. She works on the front lines, not in the headlines, not in music videos, but in clinics and families, and in the minds of people battling addiction. She will help us understand what's happening inside the brain. Please put your hands together for Dr. Kadiri. Ladies and gentlemen, the Townsquare is officially in session. The Townsquare is official in session, everyone. Some ground rules now. Each panelist gets to speak for 3 minutes per round. I'll follow up with relevant questions in the course of that period. Members of the live audience can get, it used to be 30 seconds, but I've increased. I'm generous today. I'm giving each person 1 minute. You should clap for me for that. 1 minute for your comments and questions at interval from our online viewers will also be taken. So remember to use the hashtag TVC Townsquare. Tag me everywhere at Nifembi Ogutoye and at TVC News NG so I can get your comments and your questions. To keep the conversation sharp and spontaneous, I probably will have to interject if we go over time. So thank you for your understanding. Once again, can we put our hands together for our panelists? Let us begin with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. From 2020 to 2026, that's 6 years now. Look at the figures: 77,000 arrests, 14,000 convictions, 15 million kilos seized, right? But we still have 15 million users. Yeah. Are we winning or arresting in circles?
Well, let's start this way. We are not where we were some 5-6 years ago. Meaning that, just imagine the figure you mentioned, 15 million kilograms of assorted illicit substances. Imagine if a fraction of that were to be on our streets in our communities. What would be the situation today? It's just
that we don't know the number that is actually in our community to tell the fraction that that 15 million represents.
Exactly. So that shows that for us in NDLA, a gram seized is a gram less what is on the streets, what is available out there. Unfortunately, our own is not just about seizures, arrests. We are also well preoccupied with prevention and even attending to those that are involved or those that are struggling with substance abuse. And that's why we have 30 rehabilitation, treatment and counseling centers across the country today, and we're still striving to have more. And not only what we have, we're working with other individuals.
How many people can your 30 facilities cater to per time?
Even if we have 1,000, honestly, I'll be frank with you, that would not take the needs, the request we have out there. And that's why we're working not only.
I know, but I'm saying, how many people do the 30 facilities cater to?
Well, so far within the period, we've had more than 33,000 persons pass through that within a space of 5 years.
5 years, okay.
Yes, so that shows that we have. And beyond that, we're also very particular about post-rehabilitation. What happens to these people? How do we reintegrate them? And how do we ensure that they don't come back? And that's why we're addressing some of these factors, some of these predisposing factors through a lot of strategies. One of that we just launched some 2 weeks ago in Ondo State. That is the Alternative Development Project, to ensure that people, especially those who are involved in the cultivation and sale of these things, are given alternative means of livelihood so as to reduce, first, the supply to our streets, to our communities, and also to get them engaged, take them away from the from the cultivation of illicit cannabis. So all of this we're doing to ensure that we take care of, so that people, those that are rehabilitated, they don't find their way back. They are given alternatives of things to do. We're working with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security on that. We're working with the Federal Ministry of Health on that. We're working with the Federal Ministry of Education on that, and we're working with our international partners.
Mr. Wafemi, let us go back to the source, because I'm looking at the numbers now, 77,000 arrests.
Yes.
But your figure also says you have only arrested 128 so-called drug barons within that period.
Yes.
Are we just catching the small boys while the real financiers, stay invisible?
If you talk of one single drug baron, he could have as many as 1,000, 2,000 moors, one single, because these things are in layers.
All right.
And before you get to a single drug baron, you would have broken quite a lot of networks. Before now, that wasn't the case, But now we are very deliberate and intentional about going after the big guns.
All
Not
right.
just about the moves or the traffickers. We follow the trail until we get to the last man up there. And for us to be able to get that 128, quite a lot of work had gone into that, that I can assure you.
Let me bring in the psychiatrist in our midst, consultant psychiatrist for that matter, Dr. Memuna. If 1 in 7 Nigerians is using drugs, what does that tell us? What do you think is pushing them? Unemployment, depression, pressure, culture? What have you found out?
Everything. Everything. Thank you very much for being part of this town hall meeting today. And I was just talking to my co-panelists behind the scene that we can no longer play the ostrich when it comes to drug abuse and addiction in the society. If you are saying 1 in 7, and let's just hypothetically say we are still 200 million Nigerians, that means these 15 million we are saying they are using drug in the past 1 year. It's not. There's a lot. And
You think the figure is not accurate?
there's not. No. Because we still have a lot of stigma, discrimination, prejudice, and everything that will not let people come out. Not many families that will come and talk about the fact that they have a child or a loved one dealing with drug addiction. No. I run a drug rehabilitation center here in Lagos, Nigeria, physically 30-bedded hospital. But of course, worldwide, we know what that is. It's not everybody that comes in. And it's easier for me as a psychiatrist to manage my patient, my patient one-on-one. But we manage much more than just the patient, the families, the loved ones, the organization where they work, their relationships with other people, and it's all, a lot of...
30-bedded, how full is your facility per time?
How well?
How full? How occupied?
2/3.
2/3.
And because it's not a 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks thing, most likely, if you are going through the whole out for a full rehabilitation, is minimum of 3 months. And so when one person is there for 3 months, you definitely are not going to put in somebody else into the place. So it's a major issue. And I don't want Nigerians to go away, especially with the fact that we have youth here. It's no longer a moral failure. Neither is it a youthful indiscipline. This drug issue is a national security issue, it's economical, and it's a public health challenge. Why? Because families are breaking up severely. It's overwhelming our healthcare sector. I'm one in less than 200 psychiatrists catering for 1 million Nigerians. And the Jackman syndrome is not ready to be watered down anytime soon. So the truth is that our healthcare system is overwhelmed. The families are breaking up severely. Our churches, schools, corporate sector, they are being affected. Productivity is low. You can't talk about the fact that we should overlook drug issue when we are telling ourselves we want to build a healthy society for the future. If the future that we are looking at now are affected by drug abuse and addiction, which future are we building for them? Because they are going to decision-making skills in the prefrontal cortex of the brain is being affected by drug abuse, and of course, when people take substance at the very first beginning, when we're talking about let's just experiment, is for fun. You are likely going to chase the high because that first experience will give you that high, the pleasure, and it's going to affect the reward center of the brain. And in the process of chasing the high, you will develop tolerance. And what is tolerance? You have to increase the dosage. You started this month in February. By June, you will increase it from half wrap to 1 or 2 wraps.
To be able to
get that same effect you got. And from tolerance, it leads to dependency. And from dependency is an addiction. So I would say drug abuse addiction is no longer an event, it's obviously a process.
ID Kabasa. We criminalize the user, but pop culture glorifies the lifestyle. It's in our lyrics. In fact, there's a song that I used to like. I didn't know the meaning of dealer for a while. That one says, Telebati mo ma ko luami. Telebati mo ma ko dilami. I used to lift my hands and worship. Father. Until I found out that dealer actually meant something else. Do you think our music is influencing the behavior, or it's just mirroring the reality of a society?
So I think it's both ways. It's definitely because at the end of the day, what really informs what people put out as content is majorly the prevalent value that is in the society. Personally, I don't see drug abuse as a problem again. I think it's a pandemic. Because if we say it's just the users that are having issues, even you that you are not using it, is definitely having a toll on you, which was why I said it's a pandemic. So we all created to this beast that is in the room. Music, whether we like it or not, I'm a practitioner, and I will tell you that it has its own subtle way of creating mindset, of creating, like for the song you mentioned now, it's a reflection that there is something that I think people want to run to, more like an escape route. Yeah. Which over the years, when we have these conversations, even myself and some of my colleagues, we notice that we always treat the symptoms. We don't look at the root cause. You know, while I was listening to the conversation going on, because beyond the family, we can say the family. And when we say the family might be why probably some of these kids, they want to sing about what they are escaping to. But you also have to look at it, that because the way we go up after it, we try to blame either the parents. We want to blame the father, we want to blame the mother. But you would also realize that these same parents, so they raise other kids that are not using those same substances. So it's a very, I'm not going to say it's complex, but it's actually a thing that I think we need to first tackle from the place of our values, from our values, from home. Then when these people come out, then what we reward in the society, especially in the society like ours, that people see your greatness from what you have, material, which is what encourages a lot of people that are the baron and all of that. They see that as a means of doing business. They are not doing business to get high. They are doing it to make money, to oppress other people. You understand? When some of these boys want to sing, the example of rich people that they see are all of these people. So they get to call their names, they get to celebrate. And by the time, and these barons, whether you like it or not, they are very, let me use the word smart with their agenda. They don't come to the industry with the hope of saying, yes, we want you guys to help us sell the drug or even carry the drug. All they need to do is to finance you. By the time you start mentioning their names, you start saying some of the things, and they fund that too. So the question is, are we, those that are not in support of drug, are we putting our money where our mouth is? Are we funding campaigns? Are we funding the type of music that will not carry all of these things? Because we can stay and criticize and say what people are doing, or look for scapegoat, by the way. We will not say this person is doing it, that person is doing it. But the question is, are we just going to stop at the point of just criticizing rather than funding like a 30-bed hospital? To me, I'm sure if it is in a sane country, I should be shouting that 30 is small. Because like I said, it's a pandemic. I work with young people, I work with artists, and I love the fact when she also mentioned the part of what our religious bodies are also doing and not doing. By the way, this is a pandemic. We should have lockdown spots everywhere. So are we really funding what it takes to rehabilitate, and at the same time to the family system? Are we funding a proper family system that will make us to nip it at the very root cause of it?
Let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll explore that further. For instance, there is the perception that smoking cannabis helps the creative process, right? And that's the perception that we have. In fact, there is a call to legalize recreational cannabis. I mean, and we see that happening in several other countries. We'll explore that as we talk about enforcement versus reality. Stay with us, everyone. Don't go away.
Hey baby, did you get that dress at a discount? Because I want it 100% off.
Cute. Okay, Master Man. Oh, nice.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
Me, you, dinner in Dubai tonight. What do you say?
Of continent, Nigerians are making find their mark, building businesses, shaping landscape, creating impact, carrying the green, white green with pride. But beyond these success stories lies one powerful truth. We are stronger when we connect. Join us on Diaspora Connect, a program that bridges the gap between Nigerians abroad and opportunities back home. Each episode showcases the inspiring journeys of grass to grace and the resilient spirit in the diaspora. From entrepreneurs driving change to professionals investing in the nation's future. Don't miss the program every Saturday at 5:30 p.m. on TVC News. Together, we're building bridges that strengthen our identity, our economy, our nation.
This week, Nigeria's political space is abuzz, from heated debates on the floor of the National Assembly to high-profile meetings behind closed doors and high-stakes decisions with unexpected twists that impact us all. It's been a week full of headlines and heated moments. Join us on Politics on Sunday, where we cut through the noise and dive deep into the issues that matter most, helping you make a sense of it all. From the corridors of power to the streets where it all plays out, we've got you covered, because politics doesn't stop, and neither do we. Stay informed, stay engaged, and be part of the conversation. Politics on Sunday, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on TVC News.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. You're watching the TVC Townsquare 3.0, and we're exploring conversation as regards the war against drug abuse. I'm joined by a fantastic and vibrant audience all the way from the prestigious University of Lagos and officials of the NDLEA. Please put your hands together for yourself. And thank you, my panelists, for staying, because globally, countries are experimenting differently with drug policy. In Portugal, for instance, they have decriminalized drugs like cannabis. And statistics have shown that since 2001, when they did that, there has been a significant reduction in drug-related harms, like overdose death and HIV infection. In a country like Canada, cannabis is legal, it's regulated, and it's taxed. So resources from the tax is used in sectors like health and education. In some states of the USA, they are approaching, health-related approach that is not just penalizing drug users. The situation is different in Nigeria. So I'm coming to you, my beautiful audience. I want to hear your thoughts on whether recreational cannabis should be legalized in Nigeria. And we're going to use voice votes like we're in the National Assembly. So the bill is, should recreational cannabis, otherwise known as Igbo weed, be legalized across the nooks and crannies of Nigeria for the inspiration and enjoyment of young people? All in favor say aye.
No voice.
All against say nay. I guess they are very shy.
They are not shy.
They are realistic.
They are being realistic.
They are realistic.
The 10 million users of Igbos, they didn't come and say
They are realistic.
By even saying 10 million, you have taken almost 600,000 of it. That's 10.6 million. That's almost 11 million.
Yeah. But let me ask the artist in our midst. Adik Abasa, have you tried Igbo before?
So I was lucky not to have. But
not
because,
at all.
Yeah, I went to an all-boys secondary school, St. Finbar's College, and I saw the effect on few friends.
But we see your music video with people smoking it. You are not tempted?
You see me with people smoking. So that was why I said I was, lucky. Let me use the word lucky, that I was able to ask questions. Was I tempted to want to try by some of the, should I use conversations around it? Some of the lies that we tell ourselves, like some of the conversations that you put forward now. Because, people love palliatives. We like comfort. Because of our drive for palliatives, we get ourselves into situations that the palliative will now become so much of an escape route for us that we don't want to live. It's like saying creating orphanages. As far as I'm concerned, orphanages are like palliatives. I would rather fund making sure that we have good family systems, that you will not be having parents going to dump their kids than to be, you understand? So I was lucky enough. Then there were conversations around, which you mentioned before we went on break, that people think Igbo actually helps with the creative process. I've been a creative person right from secondary school, and I have questioned the fact that people hail me, they say you know how to do this thing, and I don't get to smoke anything. By the way, I had to stop taking too much of Coca-Cola. Not because anybody, even not because of diabetes or anything. I know that anything that I cannot discipline myself with has control over me. So that one I had to start reducing. Have I stopped taking Coca-Cola altogether? No, but I've reduced it. So back to your point, people will say Igbo actually helps them to be creative. I have been within this industry for over 30 years. I've worked with people that smoke this stuff. I've worked with people that have created stuff. I've even been part of the pioneering force within what we call Afrobeat today. And I can tell you wholeheartedly that it is not Igbo that puts inspiration here. Correct. It is what you put into your mind that puts inspiration here. I will tell you what Igbo does, because we need to be careful not to just say it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, and we don't really explain what happens, because I've spoken to a lot of these guys. So what happens is, for you to be creative, you need a sort of, should I use the word I? I that I'm talking about is more like you need to be isolated. In your, you want to go deep into your, let me use the word spirit, not in the religious sense now. You want to get into yourself. You want to come up with ideas that are very original and all of that. People, what you need is isolation. Isolation, not in the wrong use of it, but rather you want to be alone. You want to be able to conjure things. So what Igbo does, or most of these drugs, Igbo is the least of them. If you want to be, the laughing gas thing is a pandemic out there that people are not even, you see people blowing balloon, and in your mind, you think they are just blowing balloon. You don't know what they are doing. You see people with their tongue blue, and you don't know that. So what they really need when they use that part of creativity is, it helps you to bring ideas. No, it doesn't. What it does, it puts you in a place that you are sort of isolated. You can hear clearly. Your reception is very high.
Everything is amplified.
Yeah. Yes, everything is amplified. Your reception is bad. But the problem is, you can get high and still come back dejected. Why? If there is nothing that you have fed your mind, in terms of books that you have read, in terms of conversations that you have had, in terms of meditations that you have had with yourself, or even with people around conversation and all of that. Because most of the people that people claim that is Igbo, I know the way they read. I know the way they have conversations. I know some of the things that they feed this mind. I was here on TVC recently, and I was giving an illustration which somebody gave, which stuck by me, was that it's like growing up, we do this blending of pap. They call it erology. When you put plenty of, corn into it, number one, the noise is reduced when it's grinding. Then what you will see coming out is a paste. But when you put fewer corn inside it, the noise is much. You'll be hearing gran, then the paste to be scattered. That is how creativity works. The machine itself is the eye. If what you have put into your mind is not thick, what will come out will be very watery. So it is not a function of, most of the people that gave, should I use the word, that gave all these ideas, I took my time. I read about cannabis. I read about the medicinal side to it. I took out time to read, because I needed to be sure, not because somebody told me it's bad or because religion is saying this. That's not the reason. I took out time to read. So I know that it doesn't add anything. It's not that, except if it is the devil that wants to use that to actually bring stuff.
Mr. Babafemi into this conversation. I understand the NDLEA stance, because I remember the former Ondo State governor had engaged the Brigadier General on the medicinal value of Igbo. and why we should plant it for that purpose. But when a superstar smokes on stage, nobody arrests him. When a street boy does it, he's paraded. Is enforcement selective?
No, absolutely no. What happens? What you probably refer to is videos that you see online. If you look at our own arrest, we arrest people with exhibits. We have evidence to prosecute you, not about videos trending online. And in some cases, he is an artist, and he's told us here that indeed he doesn't. That doesn't mean in the video where he appears,
they don't do it.
Do you understand? So it doesn't mean that he is consuming. Even in some videos, I'm not speaking for them. We know we have quite a lot of these people on our watch. Do you understand? I'm bold to say that. But then it's not about just videos. It's about we working, tracking. For instance, in this community, in this environment, just this morning, we busted a place where we're able to track somebody from the road, and we're able to get into his apartment in Lekki here, where we discovered that indeed synthetic cannabis was being produced there. Synthetic cannabis, that's the one you call Colorado.
I understand that one, Mr. Fefe. What I'm saying is that, is it a criminal? It is criminal to use.
Possession. Yeah,
Possession and use is criminal in Nigeria.
Yes.
But how come you are not arresting people using it on TV?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. You don't arrest people based on what you see. You
okay,
have
so
to
that it is not criminal to use it on music video.
Maybe what you want to say is, for us, like I said, before you can prosecute somebody, there has to be an evidence that this person, that there has to be possession. Possession means that when you
the artist possessed it, I even brought it in front of the camera. No, I used it.
Nifemi, wait now. Remember recently we busted nightclub in Lekki, in VI here, where we arrested people with it. Do you understand? That's, you are able to get exhibits. We're able to get evidence to prosecute the person. But in a situation where somebody had probably taken it, and then maybe it's even 1 year after you are seeing the video, you are now asking the agency to go and prosecute the person. It doesn't work like that. That's not what the law says. And don't forget also, for us in the agency, we work with, we're working in line with global best practice, even though, like I said, in our law, possession is criminal. But more often than not, we tend to prevail on people, those who are using, discourage them from using and provide them support, help to take them out of it, rather than punishing them for it, because there are quite a lot of, Dr. Memuna actually spoke in that direction earlier, because there are quite a lot of factors responsible.
But our laws do not reflect that.
That's exactly what we're saying.
The Indian Act of 1966 will jail you for up to 5 to 6 years for using cannabis. Your own act, NDLEA Act, I understand is between 15 and 25 years.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can spend 15 years in prison for smoking Igbo. Can you imagine? For smoking cannabis. That's out of this world. But I'm going to return to you, Dr. Memuna. What's the impact of glamorizing this? What does it do to us psychologically, especially to young people? What they watch on TV?
Very important question. Very. And, you know, we talk about, before now, we used to talk about the gateway to drug abuse. And two major culprits are there, alcohol and cigarette, right? And so people need to see it as a problem that when I smoke, it's not a big deal. And then we now water down to shisha. And the shisha, you know, it has a lot of varieties, strawberry, vanilla. So it's nothing. And, you know, you go for naming ceremonies, the whatever, let's appease the gods and, you know, and all those other things, right? So it looks as if it was okay. And then being a researcher and a clinician in this current dispensation, I would say, with time, we started understanding that it's no longer fun to just take any of these substances. Then it was looking as if it's fun and the youth will experiment and everything is all right and all. But now we are seeing it clearly from the PET scan, from the PET scan, there is a whole different change. Drug abuse, or whether it gets to tolerance or dependence and eventually addiction, changes the whole, morphology of the brain, changes the structure rather of the brain. So it's not, and it's now is a mental health related issue. So when we glamorize it and when we normalize it, it looks as if it is okay. It is not. So we have to retrospectively sit down and say, look, this is not something we glamorize.
Because these superstars are successful. They have so much money, you want to become like them. And they smoke. And then you now come and tell me that smoking is bad. How do I understand that?
And they're on stage taking the little cup, especially most times is the red.
It's a red cup.
You get it? And then they're taking it and then they're smoking and all that. Let's understand, and I like the fact we have youth here. Whether you are Taye or Kende, Hassan or Hussein, or Dio or Akiri, the truth is that your brains are different. Whether your father has been taking this substance for the past 30 years, nothing happened to him, he is different. Whether your uncle has been taking it for the past 50 years, he died, nothing happened to him, you are different. Your own one time of taking it, you may be on the street. And this is University of Lagos, right?
Yes.
Yes. I have done 2-3 campaigns campus-wide in University of Lagos. Definitely not this group of, because we've not done it since COVID. We've not, so in the past 5 years. So if you have not been in Unilag before then, you definitely not know that we used to work with the counseling department to do campus-wide campaign on drug abuse and all that. So glamorizing it is a big issue. So what are we saying? That person you will think is successful now, with time, some of them, they may come down with cognitive decline, forgetfulness, mindful, and even coming down to drug rehabilitation issue. You will not see that somebody that has money, we rehabilitate some people not in my center. Some people, they will go and get a whole house because they don't want Nigerians to use them to catch cruise, right? So they will get a whole house and say, Dr. May, come with your whole team. So I'm there as a psychiatrist. We have the medical doctor, we have the psychiatric nurse, we have the social worker, we have the psychologist, everybody. Because they don't want to come to Pinnacle Medical Services where I'm the psychiatrist in chief, so that the cleaner will not notice them. The other visitors that come to see other patients will not know them. So you will not know. You will not know. So people are out of the system for a while. You will not know that they have gone to rehabilitation. Likewise, the fact that we have children outside the country, in these countries that have legalized marijuana, 9-tetrahydrocannabinoids is the addictive substance in marijuana. But that doesn't mean that there are no other addictive substances. A large chunk of the children that we do rehabilitation for and we do virtual therapy for are from Canada. So we are trying to send our children to better their lives and all that. Let's not forget the culture shock. Let's not forget the racism. Let's not forget the weather in Canada is harsh. Most of us that travel with our children, we travel during summer. We don't travel during winter. Now the child is going to experience spring, summer, winter, autumn. And then that child is there, there's racial discrimination, there's culture shock, there are different things, and this child is taking, and then it's easy. It's just they deliver. And then this child will come down with drug rehabilitation. So we find out that 2-3 years, your child has been there, you spent over $150,000, you are bringing the child back to Nigeria for rehabilitation. So glamorizing, we all need all hands on deck.
Indeed.
We do not want a situation where we are blaming only the parents, only the church and more religious organization, NDLA, government, because people are very easy to say, government is in, no. Everybody.
It's everyone's responsibility.
Yes, it's a responsibility. All of us. It's a society.
I think she deserves a round of applause. Thank you. Heidi Kabasa, it's Valentine's Day. And you know what happens about the many parties. In fact, these days, this cannabis of a thing, which you said is the least, is not just being smoked. You now have it in gummies and things like that. You can take it anyway. But do you think that your colleagues have a responsibility in messaging? Because now we are learning from NDLEA that they might not even be able to catch them because there's no way to get exhibits from them, which in my opinion is a policy issue, because it's like fighting the symptoms and not understanding the source. I mean, do you know that many of these people, they are like ambassadors?
They are, not like.
They're
Yeah.
bigger than, on their pages, there are millions of people
Yeah.
following them. So if we don't get them on board, it's going to be like winking in the dark. What do you think?
I think we finance bad behavior a lot around here, a lot, especially with some of our laws and because as I listen now, I know some of the top hip-hop artists from America, they don't allow them to get into some countries in Europe because of drug-related issues. You show these things in your video that I don't catch you do it. It's like me saying, you know, every time people say that when they read the 10 Commandments and people say, me, I've never killed before. And I tell them that there are people that you have actually made to kill themselves online by some of the things that you say or by some of your actions. Because when you show, like I just released an album recently and there was a song that was supposed to be on the album that was supposed to more like discourage drug intake and all of that. And I sent it to different artists. What they sent back to me was pure glorification of that. The total opposite of what I intend. And in my head, I didn't see anything back. But eventually I was able to have conversation with one of the guys on it. And he told me that now he's had like 8 months that he has been clean. People don't see the other side, like she rightly said, of what most superstars that they see. In fact, when you see them do some of these things, let me even be a bit more open here. They are trying to cope with their insecurity.
And traumas.
They are trying to cope with their traumas. They are trying to cope with, and it's with their ego. So when people say top stars are egocentric, yes, they are egocentric, but ego, the way we understand it, is that is pride, is arrogance. No, ego is camouflaged insecurity. They use some of these things to actually hide their ego. That is why even the dark shade, as simple as it is, some will put on dark shade so that they don't get to see people's face
They're
because
shy.
they've lost. One of the major things that they lose is their identity when they become these big stars. So there is always a need for them to, and when you now start to justify what somebody is using as a coping mechanism that is destroying them, to now think that that is the end thing, you understand, about the whole of the person's career, then you begin to know. So I think for law enforcement, sincerely, there is a need to also, I know NBC is doing a whole lot. I know some of these organizations.
That's actually where I think.
Yes, NBC is doing a whole lot too. But NBC cannot do so much with social media.
People don't watch TV again.
They don't watch TV again. So they don't watch TV again. So there is a need. I'm scared saying 25 years for somebody that is smoking cannabis. To me, that is not going to be the solution.
You're saying that that law is no longer realistic.
It's obsolete.
Is the law meant, I want to ask, is the law meant to punish or discipline? Because there are two different things.
Mr. Babafemi is here to answer.
So if the law is meant, to discipline, which is rehabilitation, like what they are doing.
I already answered that part of it. That's why
yes,
it may be in the law,
25 years is very primitive.
Just a minute. Have you actually convicted a cannabis smoker for 15 years before? Has it ever happened?
That's exactly what I was trying to let you know that that may be in our law. That's possession. But then in our own practice, because we are now treating this whole issue as a public health issue, which it is, rather than arresting and punishing those people, because when we arrest people, we have to first determine, are these ones users or dealers? We have to separate. The moment you are a dealer or there is evidence that you are trafficking or profiteering with this, that's a different ball game. But if you are a user, then we tend to be more empathic towards you.
Let me give you an example,
Mr. Babafemi,
so that young people watching can understand. You know, there are times when you are driving at night and NDLA officials stop you. If you are stopped and they found cannabis, I'm using cannabis because it's
the most abused anyway.
Right? Yes. And they found just enough quantity for only you. That means you are not a dealer.
Well,
you are a user.
You can't determine at that point.
No, because you are looking for exhibits now. That's the only thing you found with the person. Yes. Are you going to arrest that person?
First, the fact that you have it with you.
Yes.
You are a suspect. And then when we take you, we have our parameters to determine, because we have to do further investigation to know what's your background. What have you been, I mean, we check, I mean, fortunately, we have a full directory of assets and financial investigation. Have there been transactions, money coming in to your account through this, or you paying other people for supplying and all of those things? And then the quantity would also be, it's also a factor. So if ultimately it is determined that you are just a user, then we suggest such individuals to treatment, counseling, and rehabilitation rather than prosecution. That I can tell you. But then if we have evidence that indeed this person, I mean, it's beyond being a user, then you face the full wrath of the law.
My thinking, and I don't think you agree with him, my thinking is that I don't think punishing it is effective.
It's not.
And that's my personal opinion. Because I can mention places where people smoke on a regular, these things. And even law enforcement agents join them. So, allegedly. Anyway. The point I'm making, and I want to go to the doctor. I want us to be able to balance this conversation. There are people who smoke cannabis and they don't abuse it.
Smoke it and they don't abuse.
And it has no.
So what is abuse?
You tell me.
It's an illicit substance already.
You tell me. But the point I'm trying to make is that, well, there are nations of the world where it is legal, right? Where they focus on the public health issue. Is there any medical definition or interpretation to that?
To abuse.
Or explanation to that?
To abuse.
No,
to use.
To recreational use. But no abuse.
The thing is about abuse, as the word is an English word, meaning you are using something in excess. You are using something more than it's supposed to be used. You are using something abnormally. And then before it eventually comes to, why should you see Dr. May, right? Or even why should you even make it medical? When it starts affecting your productivity, when it starts affecting your activities of daily living. So you're waking up, you're not able to wake up on time, you're not able to take care of your personal hygiene, your eating habit has changed, your mood has changed, your every other thing. So
if you're not abusing a doctor,
yes,
do you stand any medical risk, any health risk?
Yes, so the thing is that if you are taking it, that means most likely in context, it's like you are taking it when and if needed, or you're taking it in moderation. So it's not in any way affecting you in a way that people will say you are abusing that substance. So the thing is that when people take, it's like, let's go to paracetamol. So you find out that in the packet, they will say use 2 tablets 3 times daily. In and if after you're taking it for 3 days, visit the doctor. So if you take it 4 times a day, that's an abuse, right? 2 tablets 4 times a day. You're like, this one is not good. Let me take it again. Let me take, or maybe 5 times. That means you're taking, as against 6 tablets, you're taking 10 tablets. That's an abuse. But you have taken it 3 times a day, 2 tablets, and you're taking it for 2-3 days, and you're not getting better. Then that means it's not necessarily what you are taking it for that is the issue. It may be something else. So you need an expert to do. So that's in the context of you are taking is not an abuse, and we are not seeing the effect. It is relative. Why? Some people can take it, they are not abusing it, and they break down. And this is where we now still go back to the issue of the brain structure, your genetic makeup, the environment you grew up, so many other multifactorial things that you are bringing into. So, and that's why you cannot, in quote, compare yourself with somebody, or just think that because this person is doing it, it's nothing. We've seen somebody who, a student, by the way, I'm not going to mention the school, he planted marijuana in the mother's garden.
Sharp guy.
Sharp guy. Marijuana is green in nature, and mother had ugu and some other things. So the mother, so the mother will weed round everything. As far as she's concerned, it's my son's plant, vegetable. God bless you, vegetable. And so when it grows a lot, he will pick it, he will dry it, and then he put it in a pack, because that is what the one he normally takes. And so that one that is dried, and he put it in.
At least that one is not synthetic.
Which is direct. It's not exactly. Yes. It is direct. So you put it in his Indomie and also so many other things, beans and every other thing. So what then happened? He took it and he was going to school from home. He took it that day, he went to school, he got to his friend's room in the hostel, and then added the smoking. And the one that he added was laced. So he has taken the natural, now he's taking something synthetic, the brain went up. And of course, the boy went on the street in the school, removed his clothes, they called the mom. The mom said, no, it's like you telling people that this, my child, nothing, is not possible, because they went to the counseling unit and the hospital and the school clinic. They now did what we call the drug test, because you can do test within 5 minutes, you will get the result, right? And though they now said there's marijuana in this child, the mother said never, it's not possible. At the end of the day, in like taking history and asking, what does this boy do? What time does it come home? What does it? He say, yeah, there's one pack in his room that's always taking one thing, and he said it's tea. It's tea, and it makes him strong. It's green tea. It makes him macho and all that. They say, Mommy, have you ever taken that? He said, no, that the boy said that that thing is for Gen Zs, that you get giving 6 packs and all that. So they told him how to go and bring it. Lo and behold, he said, oh, fuck up. So those are some of the things I mean.
Interesting.
I think there is the need to clear something.
Yes.
Please, whether synthetic or not,
Yeah.
the law in Nigeria today
covers
prohibits
everything,
the use or abuse of cannabis. Please, because young people, you are here, cannabis
is cannabis.
Is cannabis. It's illicit.
Yeah.
Please don't joke with it. The fact that we're saying we are being lenient towards those who are users does not mean the law allows you.
Yeah.
If you are caught with it, you may not be lucky.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Yeah, I know. That's why I need to clarify that. So that
because I told my producers that I needed a cannabis advocate on the team.
Yeah.
Because we have to be very realistic. Beyond the letters of the law, what is our reality?
So that is where I'm going to say, we don't need to be legalistic about this.
Exactly.
So is cigarettes legal in Nigeria? In fact, on it, you will see smokers are liable to die young, but people are still smoking. And we know smoking is killing people. Sugar. As sugar is me, I have sweet tooth, so I know I know how long it took me to stop using white sugar. They sell it everywhere. It's legal. That it is legal. That it is not even it is not illegal to have. Does not mean that it is healthy.
Exactly.
Which is where I think if we start to look at it from that point, we will stop punishing. We will start looking for ways to nip it. And I'm saying, if you come from the part of when it's just a recreational thing, let's be careful not to be providing palliatives that are not sustainable to people. We are providing a sort, people are, what are they really running from? I think those are the things we need to pay attention to. Like right now, we keep complaining that the pandemic is much in Nigeria. This is a generation where people compare themselves, where everybody is looking for affirmation. Everybody is trying to run away from the crowd. They want to just be on their own. I work with a lot of these guys, and by the time you start talking to them, you will notice that they, as simple as our phone is, I can tell you that phones actually causes drug abuse. Because you have seen a lot of stuff online. When you go to your phone, you see stuff that is making you to feel less of yourself, that is making you to, then the next thing is, you are looking for a feel-good moment. Then the next thing is, you are going to some of these drugs. So the phone, what are the real root cause? Sincerely, for me, where I stand, I think is a problem of identity. Where people really don't...
We're going to get to the solution.
So I think, why I had to interject now is, I notice when we ask some of these guys, they tell you that, boy, it is legalized in some place. Like I told you, I said I read about it. It becomes abusive when it is not recommended by a doctor. And I don't think even in those countries, they recommend you to go and smoke it. They put it into the medicine that they give some cancer patients and all of that. They know, at least they know dosages that they are going to, and they put it's not, you know, when you smoke, you are not only taking the actual elements that is in it that get people out. There are other stuff that come with it, which are the other stuff that actually causes cancer. So we need to be careful not to now reduce it, start to try to glamorize it, like you rightly said the other time. We need to be careful.
When you were talking about Portugal legalizing it, you also you also didn't refer to those that had decriminalized and now
then
have
have
turned
come
back.
back because it's
So
a
when like
different disease.
Thailand had done
Come
turned that
back,
back.
yeah.
Even in the
Because
US.
yes,
Yeah.
quite a lot of this.
There's
And when you
some
also
drug
look,
pandemic.
when you also point the example of use Portugal as an example, as at 2018, when the drug use survey in Nigeria, when that report came out, the population of Portugal was about 10 million, and the population of cannabis users in Nigeria, as at then, was 10.6 million.
Yeah, more than the whole
Yeah, that's those age between
Yeah.
15 and 16.
Recorded,
That's
yeah.
more than the whole country
country,
itself.
We have a
Yeah.
larger nation of cannabis users.
So we have to be
Yes.
very careful when it comes to this issue.
Yeah.
Stay away from drugs. So. Well, I'm just doing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
Stay
that's
away
why,
from drugs.
because I see you are doing the devil's advocate, we have to
Stay away from
Yeah.
drugs. Because when you move around in Nigeria, you see a lot of, mad people around without coats. Some of them are also a fallout of the pandemic we're talking about. Well, we'll return after this break. We're taking the conversation to the audience. And wherever you're watching from, we'll also would like to hear from you. Use the hashtag TVC Townsquare, tag at TVC News NG, and at Nifemi Oguntoye. Stay with us, everyone. Don't go away.
Hey, baby. Did you get that dress at a discount? Because I want it 100% off.
Cute. Okay, Macho Man.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
Me, you, dinner in Dubai tonight. What do you say?
Good morning, everyone. It's a new day. Veronica, where are you at this time?
I am here. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Hi, Olamide.
Hey guys, I'm just at the rooftop, keeping my finger on the pulse and my eye on the street.
Hey, Toma, good morning. Hope you're up and ready for the show today.
Yeah, I just got to the office now. Have you contacted Abuja?
Hello guys, we are set and right on our way to the studio.
And the guest is standing by.
Hi, Ria.
I'm almost ready. Just let me get my glam for the show.
Good morning, Ibrahim. What about the dailies?
I just grabbed the papers. I'm on my way.
Good morning, guys.
Right. Nobody knows how the day will go, but every day starts with breakfast.
Start your day right here on TVC Breakfast every weekday from 7 a.m. only on TVC News.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. You're watching the TVC Townsquare 3.0. Our conversation is on war against drug abuse. We're joined by some students from the University of Lagos. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have officials of the NDLEA in the audience. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Quick one. By showing of hands, how many of you personally know someone that is battling addiction? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. The other question is, do you think Nigerian music influences drug use? Yes or no? Yes. Anybody who says no? Rashidat has a personal experience of drug abuse. Is it your own experience?
No.
Or somebody you know?
Somebody I know.
All right, please tell me in 1 minute.
All right, so it was our security.
Your security person?
Yes, our security. So that morning, he was just laughing at everybody, and he's not a playful person, kind of. So we don't even know until we started hearing noise that he started breaking glasses and all of that. Not knowing he has taken some drugs and all of that, mixing up those things together. People started beating him, but yet he didn't feel the pain, like, honestly. Like, they tore his body, like his skin, but I didn't feel the pain. So that was just the little experience I had.
Some drugs make you feel like Superman until you die, right? All right, let's take questions for our panelists quickly. Your name and your question. Please go ahead.
Okay, good day everybody. My name is Udo Akemini, student of Mass Communication, University of Lagos. And I have 3 questions. I'll keep them short and simple. 2 directed to the NDLEA boss and 1 to Madam Kadiri, if I'm not mistaken. So the first one is, we've seen the numbers, the record-breaking arrests and seizures, but should we count that as a success or a failure for prevention? Because we're not looking at the demand. Let's take a look at the demand and the supply. There's high supply, and then that's what you're copying, you're intercepting. But we looked at a way of intercepting the demand itself, like getting the demand to reduce. And then secondly, I don't know if the Honorable Shinopela is on here. I don't know how you have plans with nightlife proprietors such as like him to cope. For example, tonight is Valentine, and then you know what happened. So what are there plans today to prevent things like
drug abuse
as well as date rape that comes with drink spiking and consent violations? What are the plans? And then for Mrs. Kadiri, the question is for students that might actually be taking it for, they believe it aids them in their academic performance. What advice will you give them to actually let them realize that it's really not it that is being beneficial to them?
All right, fantastic question. Anybody here who has used drugs for exams before? Did it work? Don't be shy. Don't worry. The NDLA will not arrest you today.
NDLA is here.
Trust me, they will. Mr. Babafemi has given me his word that he won't arrest anybody, right? Any other question quickly before we go? Yes, your name.
My name is Jimo Zairat, and I'm a student of the University of Lagos. So I feel NDLA they only focus on some parts of the country, like the urban areas. Out of the rural areas, they are isolated.
Any other person with a question? All right, please go.
My name is Ibrahim Aisha Sano, and I'm from University of Lagos 100 level. My question is that how do we expect the young Nigerians to not use drugs? Like, how do we expect them to cope with depression and every other thing aside using drugs when there's unemployment, bad governance? I'm never said bad governance. So I feel like that's just the way they want to like cope with it. How do you people want to like make them not take drug to deal with their situation?
Are you talking from experience?
No.
So you're saying that it's practically impossible because of the level of depression and economic situation of the country?
Yes.
I thought they said things are getting better. Anyways, any other question? Let's go. Yes, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Juanita Adebisi. So
you gave them 450K?
Yes.
Where did you get money from?
My savings.
Oh my.
Yes, they did not allow us go.
Which officials are you referring to? NDLEA?
I don't know, security, police, everybody. I don't know how to. They collected our money.
Better. I would have helped you, but unfortunately, you cannot pinpoint NDLA in this case. But I understand what you're saying.
Look at their uniform. They wear brown. Did you see them?
It was. I think the uniform was green.
No NDLA officer would do that. That I can assure you.
It was the police. Yes. How do we do the whole corruption thingy? Because they collected our savings. Thank you.
Fantastic questions. Please put your hands together for yourselves, everyone. All right, so we're going to get answers to the questions. I'm told that Honorable Shinopela is online. He's the founder of QLux, a former member of House of Representatives, and he works actively in the intersection of youth culture and what we now discuss as drug abuse. Honorable Pela, thank you for joining us on the program. Let me begin by asking you first if you acknowledge that nightclubs play a significant role in the issue of drug abuse. And how are founders and owners of these clubs reacting to this reality?
Thank you very much. Firstly, I apologize that I'm not able to be in studio personally today. It is actually, I think, a misconception between my media secretary and TVC. And he knows that I'm always passionate about anything that has to do with, the teeming youth of our great country. So definitely, it is something that he knows that I'll definitely get my attention But unfortunately, today happens to be the 80th birthday celebration of my stepfather. So the whole family is here. So I said to them that no matter what it takes, I would make sure that at least I spend some time to be able to, to exchange ideas on this, because this is actually a problem that I see that affects, the engine of Nigeria. Because when I say the engine of Nigeria, if you look at the population of the youth in Nigeria, we have at least about 56%, that is, possible to use to get addicted to drugs. And, between these, at least between the age of 18 and 35, is actually the company's workforce. So which becomes, the engine room of the country. And if they are swept away by drug abuse, then it means that the economy is stalls. So whether we like it or not, I think it's a problem that we actually need to, pay so much attention, to. Yes, the entertainment industry in general is not just about, talking about nightclubs. We talk about, the entertainment industry, because even now, if you look at, the entertainers, the kind of picture that they paint, with when, they are shooting music videos, when they make people to want to show that they arrived, they are there, showing all sorts of things, like maybe from smoking weeds and things like that. And this doesn't mean that we need to keep, to ban songs, but what we need to do is actually to create another dimension, for people to actually see that there are incentives, for people who actually represent, what is meant, the way that it's meant to be represented. Then looking at, the nightclub, like I'll talk from Quiloc's perspective. As I speak, I'll use this opportunity to commend, the good work of the commander of NDLA in Lagos, that's Abubakar Wali, because as we speak, the club and NDLA, they are going into having like an agreement, to see how we can be able to, curb drug use, in Lagos. So, and I know they've been going back and forth with the management, looking at, what is required for Quilox to do as a brand, and what is required for NDLA as well to do as a brand. Because if you look at Nigeria as it is now, I think even looking at, the legislative harm of the laws that surrounds, people using drugs, we need to first of all separate these laws from a user to somebody that is peddling. A user of drugs is somebody that needs help. Somebody that is peddling is somebody that is making money from illicit business. So there are two different things. So, and I think that by now we need to even look at when they seize, the proceed, of all these, the proceeds of the funds that they seize, or the properties that they seize from users. Do they just convert it to government revenue, or they should find a way to convert it to start building rehabilitation centers, to start building, ways to be able to help people out of this. So there are two, different things that I think that as the people that will work, and this is exactly, I'm just speaking from Quiloc's angle.
All right.
Because this is what Quiloc's will be doing with the NDLA.
Let's talk about nightclubs for a minute, Honorable Pella, if you can hear me, because you mentioned that there's a relationship between nightclubs and NDLEA. I'm wondering what nightclubs are without substances that we're talking about. Are you saying that you don't allow them in your nightclubs? And someone raised an important question here, that what are nightclub owners doing to enhance protection of people who patronize them on a Valentine's Day like this, the issue of date rapes and what?
Yeah. So now, don't get me wrong. Definitely nightclub is a major economy in Nigeria. But at the same time, we must know that it can also be used as a hub for distribution. So when I say that we have an agreement with NDLEA, it shows that, first of all, we are creating a drug-free zone certification, which that when you get to Quilox now, you can see on all the walls from entering, it tells you that say no to drug abuse. You'll be arrested if you're seen with drugs. If you are seen with drugs, you have a NDA certification. There's actually like a poster that we got from the NDLEA that is posted around the club. So automatically it shows, to the customer that this is a drug-free zone, where, drug cannot be used.
I'm just a little bit curious. So you are not allowed to smoke cannabis in Quilox,
Then,
right?
so outside this, when people, they tell you that you can't do it, but when they try to do it now, that is when the bouncers, tends to throw them out. So when they do that, the bouncers, it's not left for the bouncers, because this still goes to also training the bouncers as well. Because most of all these bouncers as well, you look at maybe somebody that is getting paid an average of maybe 100,000 naira, per month. And, there's somebody that is there smoking cannabis and gives the person $100. So that is, talking about the reality of what happened.
All right. We're going to get back to Honorable Pella in the course of this conversation. Let me get answers to some of the questions that have been raised in the audience, and we're going to start with Mr. Babafemi. The first question was about the numbers of arrest and seizure and whether you consider it success or failure, considering that the demand is still high.
Yeah, thank you very much. Perfect question. I'll tell you definitely, like I did say in my introductory remarks, that then it's absolutely a success, not a failure, because primarily NDLEA's work rests on two major pillars: drug supply reduction and drug demand reduction. In the area of drug supply reduction, that's where you see the arrest, the seizures, the prosecution, the convictions, the seizure of assets, all those kind of things. That's the figure. On that, I mean, the same statistics that Nifemi reeled out, you also see sensitization aimed at prevention. You also see treatment, those that are treated, rehabilitated, all of these things. So they go pari passu. We work hand in, we do the two together simultaneously. So that's for that, definitely it's all about, it's all aimed at preventing people from having access to these illicit substances. And those that are already in contact with these substances, we are also available to provide support for them. We're also available to treat them. That's that. Then the second question on whether NDLEA is focusing on just urban area, what happens in the rural areas, that I can tell you that we are all over the country. We are virtually in every local government in the country today. We have commands in all the states. So we're not just working in the urban cities, in the urban centers, we're also working in the rural communities. That I can tell you. Because when it comes to providing support to people, we have our commands in those, we have what we call area commands in some of those areas. And in addition to that, we go into the forest, deep into forest, to destroy cannabis farms. Deep as in forest that will take our men, officers and men, to walk like 4, 5, 6 hours barefoot to be able to assess. So meaning that we walk in those places for us to get intelligence about the existence of such cannabis farms, or even what we call the clandestine laboratories, methamphetamine, the one popularly called Nkurumiri, because they know we are all over the cities combing, searching for this. Some of these people have moved into the interland, so we have to also follow them. They were destroying and dismantling a lot of these things down inside the rural communities. That I can tell you. And then there is the issue
dropping drugs in your.
Yes, how do we? Definitely, that's why I asked her. No NDLEA officer. We are very professional. No NDLEA officer would do that.
How many officers do you have?
The agency today, we have about just a little less than 15,000.
And you can vouch for all your 15,000?
No. What I'm saying is this. We are professional enough, and I also tell you one of the things, and we have mechanisms in place, systems in place to check our officers in the line of their operations and their duties. NDLEA today is probably the first to be using body cam in our operations. Body cameras, we have that, we wear that in our operations. Thank you. That's to further affirm the integrity of what our officers are doing out there, because there is a record of everything they are doing.
All right. So You know that our audience is limited, but you are watching live on TV. If you have any experience with NDLE officials you'd like to inform us with, tag at TVC News NG at Nifebi Oguntoye. Use the hashtag TVC Townsquare, and so that we can quickly ask them now that they are here.
Yeah, there is one more last question.
Just a minute. Let's get back to Honorable Pella very quickly. There are some questions here for you from Facebook. Tuluwa Lasha is asking, how can celebrities and influencers better use their platforms to discourage substance abuse among Nigerian youths? The other person is Nuruddin Okeade, who's asking that from your experience working with young people, what role can private businesses and entertainment hubs play in preventing drug abuse? I think you mentioned that earlier, Honorable Pella, but you can add to all of that. Earlier on, before you joined this conversation, we were taking opinions about whether or not cannabis should be legalized in Nigeria. What's your thoughts on that? You might have to unmute your mic.
So,
all right.
Hello, yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Looking at, our country, Nigeria, is not with so much resources. If cannabis is going to be legalized in Nigeria, then it has to be regulated. In other countries where it is legalized, there are regulations, to how you can get it. I think you can get it from the pharmacy, and, there's a quantity to what you can get. It is not just looking at it as being legal, and, then people, Nigeria is just somewhere that if you legalize it, then, can cause confusion. So when we don't have the right structure to manage, the use of it, then we cannot be talking about legalizing it. But looking at how much revenue that can be generated as one of the resources, then definitely we have to talk about regulations. So it's not just something that can happen. I think it's something that if we are going to look at, there is going to be at least a proper time, like maybe a year, set up a committee, a proper system, that talks about, how definitely to be regulated, because regulations definitely will, will make us to achieve the aim of definitely legalizing it if it has to.
You see, as a businessman, you are thinking differently from every member of my panel. They all said no to legalizing it, but you are saying, you know what? Because of the money we'll make, let us regulate it, right?
What did you say?
I said as a businessman, you are thinking differently from my panelists. They all said no to the question of legalization, but you are saying we can make a lot of money from it. Let us regulate it and legalize it, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. But I said if it's going to go, there's going to be with a lot of regulation. You can't just legalize without regulating it.
All right.
So that is where are you going to be getting it from? Like you have to be able to give, like a permit, to the certain pharmacies that they have, that have been selling this. It's not just because they legalized it, then you have one Sule somewhere that is just opening a place and is just trading in cannabis and saying that because it is legalized. There must be, it's like maybe the way you get it from prescription, from some pharmacy, and you drop your details and everything like that. So there should definitely, if you're going to legalize it, then it comes with regulations. That is what I meant.
Kabasa is already shaking his head here in the studio. But quickly, Honorable, this person is asking... Shebi, you have not caught Kabasa smoking anywhere before at Kulux, Abi? Honorable.
Because
he said he has never smoked cannabis before.
In fact, if you ask, they know I don't club. I don't even club.
No. I do that.
He doesn't do that. All right. Please put your hands together for him. It's not easy. All of you that you are craving under pressure. Adi Kabasa has been working with Igbo smokers for decades. But he's a secondary smoker though. Because one way or the other, he must have smelled it. Yeah. All right, quickly, Honorable, before we let you go, what in your opinion is the biggest driver of drug abuse among young Nigerians? Is it unemployment? Is it peer pressure? And this is coming from Samson Isaac on Facebook.
Is that mine?
Yes.
So can you come again? What was the question, please?
He's asking what you think is the biggest driver of drug abuse amongst young Nigerians. Unemployment, peer pressure. What do you think it is?
You know, the way that you're asking questions, I think because these are their major problems as well. You understand what I'm saying? Because definitely because we have a country where the economy is bad, we have at least about almost 40% of young people that are jobless. And what they say is an idle man is a devil's workshop. So definitely unemployment definitely will play an important role. And at the same time, you have a population.
All right, the next time we're going to ensure that Honorable comes into the studio. Please put your hands together for him, at least. For taking a break from the 80th birthday anniversary to still join us online. Doctor, I'm going to return to you shortly, so don't forget what you were about to say. You know, while we're in school, I remember that we'll put our legs inside water so that we can read. We'll drink coffee. But they said there are now psychotic drugs. How do you react to that question?
Did that work for you? Did you do it? Let's go. Let me give you back.
Did I drink coffee or did I smoke something?
Both of them.
Coffee.
The water and then they're taking coffee.
Let me just be clear now. I don't smoke it. Go. Don't think that I'm an advocate. But I think I've tried coffee. It's just that when I drank it, I slept.
The reverse was the result.
So I stopped using it. Yes.
And truly, that is what happens. You just need to know what works for you. For some of us, I take coffee because of the aroma, not because of it will make me. No. Sleep is my middle name. In fact, yesterday on Facebook, I asked a question to my community: do adults still experience siesta? Do we still sleep? Like it was something that I had to ask because I literally still sleep. Like I observe, even if it's 30 minutes to 20 minutes, I still do that. And people are like, no, they're very busy, phone and all that. The truth is that drugs do not make you academically sound. It borrows your focus from the future.
That's focus.
Yeah.
That word focus.
It borrows your focus from the future. What drug does is that it will not help you to memorize. It reduces the consolidation of what you are trying to memorize. It will worsen your anxiety and depression. As you are now as a youth or young person, your brain will not stop developing till your mid-20s. That means 25, 26. So whatever you are doing now can affect your brain, which can be reversible or irreversible. So when you take some substances, because you do not know, nobody knows. We have the omnipotent God. People will say, I don't believe in God. Whatever you are worshiping, we all have that big spirit, that big thing that know that there's the spirit out there, right? Nobody knows what their destiny is going to be. Am I going to be the next president? Am I going to be the next House of Rep or whatever it is, or the next GOAT, greatest of all time, right? The best Afrobeat, whatever. And of course, your generation says, okay, the truth is that you have to understand that taking substances is not going to help. You have to look for alternative, healthy versions. And so your generation will say, okay, let's clock it. So I will tell you, clock in the alternative, healthier options.
All right.
You do not need to take substances. So clock it in.
And we are due for another break. When we return, we're going to explore more the alternatives. I know Adika Basa also has some thoughts to share in that regard, the policy of governments that need to change, and then you can also use that opportunity to answer the rest of the questions. We can also, we'll also like to hear from our viewers if you have ideas that you think government has to explore, and also members of the audience. Stay with us, everyone. Don't go away.
Hey baby, did you get that dress at a discount? Because I want it 100% off.
Cute. Okay, Macho Man. Oh, nice.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
Me, you, dinner in Dubai tonight. What do you say?
In a world where news never sleeps, we're taking a giant leap into the future.
We at TVC Communications are proud to introduce a new era in news broadcasting. But first, let me introduce my special friend, Olamide AI. Hi, Olamide Human. Is it time to come out yet? Yes, indeed it is. And you can bring your friends along. Meet our new AI anchors, speaking your language and sharing your stories. From English, good day. These are the news headlines, to Pidgin.
Better country people, on a good evening.
Yoruba,
Ekaro, Ekodede Asikoyi, Shedadalabayi,
Igbo,
Ndewo, Auto Innovation, Ahambu Obada Samson Ejiro,
and Hausa.
Mutane na sanar da zuwa, sunana Rakia Abdulkarim kuma kana kallon TVC News.
We are bringing the news closer to you, faster, smarter, and always reliable. And together, we are shaping the future of news for every Nigerian, everywhere. Innovation, connection, and trust. The future of news is here.
TVC News, first with breaking news. And now first in Nigeria with AI news anchors. We are now on the last lap of our special Townsquare series on war against drug abuse. A big round of applause to everyone who has joined us. Thank you so much for following keenly. We're taking recommendations and solutions. I'll begin with the audience. We have Jadisola, right? You have 1 minute.
So we're talking about the music industry influencing people. I also wanted to point out the movie industry having an hand in, influencing people, because they tend to normalize drug use. They tend to portray it as teenage exploration, particularly Hollywood.
Unfortunately, Hollywood is not within our constituency. It's just that we are the one not watching Nollywood, where they will portray drug abuse as a sin against God, and they will show you get mad when you smoke, right? A round of applause for Nollywood, ladies and gentlemen. All right, next person, please.
My name is Shalom, Adibali Shalom, from Department of English Language. So my opinion is that there's one thing about youth that when you say don't do this, you want to do it. There's that kind of feeling we have, like we just want to explore, adventurous spirit. So I'm thinking, what's your opinion about this? Because like me, I've been brought up by very strict parents, and now I'm in school. I want my freedom and everything. So what's your opinion about this?
Very important question.
About freedom, right?
Okay.
Freedom without borders.
It's Adio Michael, a student of petroleum and gas engineering. Well, looking at the rampant usage of drug abuse, my own suggestion is just that this thing actually starts from the mind. So you can't just decide that you want to take it in a day. It starts from the mind, your conditions and everything. So to the drug law enforcement agency that are actually doing their rehabilitation to people, they should go back to the condition. They should go look at those people's lifestyle, portray what was the reason they actually meddle in drug affair. Then maybe there are some people that are also in that case. Maybe you can portray the lifestyle of them to of those drug addicts to them. So some people that are going on that wrong path, though they have similar situation as those, or that are falling short in the way of those that have actually been in that process, so they can learn from them. So there are some people that the experience of some people, the experience of some drug addicts are also some experience that some people are experiencing now. So it is better to counter it now using the experience they both
Thank you so much for your contribution. Anytime you need inspiration, just look at a mad person on the street. All right, let's go. Who's next?
My name is Favor Ilikura, and I'm from the Mass Communication Department.
Can you speak up a little, please?
I think we're being a bit hypocritical, because indirectly, no matter how you try, we can't get rid of drugs or cannabis. I think we are not thinking about the mental issues and state of mind of a lot of people. We are not thinking about people that have PTSD, people with depression, people with a lot of other issues that no one ever considers. So when they go through all of this, there is no one, there is no rehab, there is nothing close to us. So they think, okay, this person feels like this is a better way for me to do it, so they go ahead with drugs. I've met people, I've worked with people, and I feel like they are not understood, and they feel like taking drugs or taking things that feels like, oh my gosh, I'm like on top of the world and all of that is what they would always go directly to. So even if you try to curb it, try to stop people that already have their minds on feeling like that is what's going to make them feel better, they will still get their hands on it, and there is nothing we can do about it. So I think people should focus basically on the mental health of other people and provide a lot of stabilities for them to feel better.
Thank you so much. She's talking about mental health and rehab capacity. Do you quickly want to respond to that?
So the what?
She's talking about mental health reality and our rehab capacity to attend to it as the reason why many people go for drugs.
What she's saying is our reality, our mental health challenges. If you see, as you are sitting down right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, just count the people sitting beside you. 1 out of every 5 persons rather will have a mental health issue in their lifetime.
Even though we don't like to acknowledge it.
Even if you don't want to acknowledge it, God forbid, God is in control. 1 as you are sitting, just the 5 of you right now, 1 out of you we have. It doesn't mean that you must. It just means that there's a possibility. Why? Because they have your genetic predisposition. That's why when you go to the hospital, they will ask you any history of hypertension, diabetes, and all that. So, and there are so many other things: stressors, financial constraints, relationship issues. You've been served breakfast. Today is Valentine's Day now. Some people will not. They are just suffering from heartbreak and so many other things. So, yes, the mental health issue must be looked into. We cannot be blinded to that. And for the fact that we are dealing with youth and they are the future, you can't take it as a soft conversation anymore. It's in the, we should take it away from the corridors and bring it in the rooms. Let us have those hard conversations. What are we doing? What conversations are we having about it? What things are we putting in place in ensuring we support people? And this is where it has to come from. Before you meet somebody like Dr. May, who is a psychiatrist, who are the people in your circle of influence? Who are the trusted members that you can speak to? It doesn't have to be dad, mom, whatever. Who are those people? Who are the people that are your healthy support system? Don't just build a support system. Make sure it is healthy. So that when you are down that hole, they are pulling you up. And when you are up there, they are the ones clapping in for you.
I think we should clap for us as well. All right. We have to allow Honorable Pella to return to his party. So we're just going to ask you what you think must change as we speak to resolve this huge challenge that we're battling with as a country.
Thank you very much for protecting me, my brother. Thank you so much. I've been under so much pressure. They've been calling me here that I thought to give you a speech. And yes, I was just, discussing with the person the message that probably maybe we have to create some other time, to discuss, these ideas, because I believe this is actually an important topic, which definitely can either make us or mar us as a country. So, but from finding solutions to this problem, I want us to first of all focus on our thoughts. Our thinking must shift from criminalization to rehabilitation. That is the first important part. When people, we must be able to differentiate from the laws of the NDLEA as well, of the ones that affect, the drug users, from the drug traffickers. I think this is a very, very important part. So that, and also, for people to actually see that, the same way that you see, like maybe someone has a headache or something, is, they should, because a lot of people, even some parents, when they find out that, their child is becoming a drug user, instead of them, to be able to speak out, and they begin to come to hide these things. So we need to start giving it the way that we look at it as more like maybe it's like a sickness, that, requires some medical attention as well. And as I was speaking before as well, you know, from all the monies, the assets that they seize from, you know, drug traffickers, you know, they convert these assets, you know, to government revenue. I think by now they need to be using these assets to build rehabilitation center. They need to be using these, you know, resources for them to fund actually helping people out of, you know, drug use.
Thank you so much for.
And there should also be incentive. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Can't wait to run away.
Absolutely. A round of applause again for Honorable Bella. Thank you so much. All right, so I wanted to speak to that freedom issue because I know someone who told me that she lived for more than 35 years and she'd never had an experience of what a cigarette tastes like. And she went out one day and went to buy just a stick. She's not interested. She just wants to smoke it and say, in this lifetime,
I tasted it.
Let me know what it feels like. So how do you respond to that freedom challenge for every young person?
First, let us understand, by the way, shout out to the last
the lady
that spoke, because that really, she actually shared some of my sentiments. We need to understand that freedom without borders is going to become a problem. Because freedom is not really the ability for you to say there is nothing holding you. Freedom is actually your ability to choose what you are enslaved to. Your ability to choose that, yes, this one I am free with. The way we perceive freedom is my ability to just do anything and anyhow. No, that in itself is a choice, is also a decision that you make. Are you going, your freedom should be seen from, if I'm saying I can do, then I should also know that I should bear the brunt of the consequences of those decisions that I'm making. And, you know, I've been struggling with when I keep hearing rehabilitation center. It's good to have rehabilitation centers, but that is not the solution to this thing. I think she raised something that we need to pay attention to. We have a generation that even the most minute stuff gets them to be depressed.
Yep.
And this is no disrespect to that generation, because what that generation...
You don't want to mention the generation.
Me, I'm a Gen Z, so they understand. So the generation, which is what I think my generation needs to know better is, this is a generation that they have too much information.
Yeah, technology.
They have technology, they have everything, which it's supposed to be a blessing, but we are also not realizing that it's becoming a curse. That is making them to see life not the way we, like me growing up now. If you say you are depressed, first thing they will slap you. Go and eat.
Slap the depression out of you.
They will slap the depression out of you. Go and eat. By the time you finish eating, you will get back. But these are, okay, I was in a class earlier today. I think I was speaking today. And I noticed the way a lecturer was actually speaking to their generation. By the way, I'm in a class with their generation as a student. I noticed the way the lecturer, a lady with a professor in front of her name, the way she was talking to them, I feel that she was too rude. The way she was addressing them, because their generation, the way they perceive things, and not the way my generation perceives it. And I'm saying, which I agree with Shinopela, that we cannot come from the angle of just saying you want to criminalize, you want to punish. I am saying let us go and nip why people are seeing this as an alternative or a getaway from their problems. Guys, this thing is not going to resolve your problem. Rather, it's going to create a bigger one that you might, at the end of the day, in fact, it's like saying, they say you dance away your sorrow. You don't dance away your sorrow. When you are done dancing, you come back to it.
You come back to your sorrow.
So it's the same thing with this thing. By the time you say you start to use a coping mechanism, it starts gradually with, let me just use it now. Before you know what, you now start relying on it. And let me tell you the way drugs works. It can work for you for a little while. Because what you have done, like what she said about that focus that you are supposed to use for like 20 years, it brings it to you in a few hours. You have ginger, you have all of those things. By the time you get used to it, like antibiotics, then it doesn't really have any effect on you again. Then the next thing, that I have an artist that I was having a conversation with that said he doesn't want to clock 40. in his life. And I said, I'm telling you, big artist. And I said, why? Why will you say you don't want to be up to 40? He said, Baba, with everything that I have taken inside my body, I will be a vegetable by the time I'm 40. So I'm saying that you have alternatives. Those alternatives doesn't even have to be anything. I spoke about identity the other time. I will nearly gloss over it. I am saying there is so much to you than you know. In fact, the level of your ignorance about yourself is bigger than whatever you know about yourself.
Yep.
If you understand this, you will know that a lot of decisions, some of these things that you think, because if you say, hey, government is bad, this one, I agree. Your generation is facing a lot, I agree. But you also ask yourself that are people making it out of this particular... If you complain that, if I tell you the generation that I'm coming from, that somebody is studying computer science and he never saw computer, that the best they could say about a mouse is they draw it on the board. Do you understand? So I'm saying I'm coming from a very analog generation that we should have all the complaints in this world to do. But I'm not even saying that that should be your portion, no. But I'm saying you guys, we need to look beyond just looking for something to cope. Nobody becomes great by being comfortable. Because what we see in those drugs is it offers a temporal getaway from all of those things. And by the time you are done using it, you are coming back worse off. That was why I said you can't dance away your sorrow.
The problem you're running away from is still there.
It's going to be there, and you are adding more to it. Look at it from the place of your health. That health part of it, is, the fact the health is the reason why I did not smoke anything, not Igbo, not cigar or anything. The health was major. Alcohol, why did I, in fact, I would say religion helped me initially, but I had to look for more reasons. And let me give you the reason why I don't even take alcohol. I want to be in charge of my mind. I don't want anything to take charge, because as an Anglican boy, as a young boy, they gave us communion wine. They call us Levites. Choir boy, we finished taking communion. They now said we should go and keep wine. I didn't know that they normally mix it with water. I now took the raw one. Bro, that day I misbehaved. I was using car key that they are supposed to open car, trying to use it to open the door. Wow. So, you know, that was the point that I realized that this thing is, because we make it sound nice, we make it sound beautiful, we make it sound, you know, cliche, all of that. But behind all, what you see happening is beyond what is going on. Absolutely. What is going on is more serious, and I think that should help you. Stop looking at it whether it's legal, whether it is, look at it more as in, what does it have to do with me? How does it affect who I am? By the time you start seeing it from that, so you are not asking the why of it. I think that should be. A round of applause for Ambassador.
Mr. Babafemi, there is an angle I want us to quickly explore before you have your final remarks. And it has to do, you know, we have focused a lot about users, but there's also the dealer dimension to it. And I remember that it got to a point where you were arresting actors, you know, who were trying to transport some of these hard drugs abroad. What do you say to young people? Because I hear that it's very lucrative, and because of the economic condition that they have found themselves, what do you say to them as a deterrent not to explore that alternative?
Well, to our young people, we would rather say that crime does not in any way pay. Dealing in drugs or trafficking is a crime. And you know, he mentioned the consequence when you are taken to the court, that is between 15 and 25 years imprisonment. And now there is an amendment to the NDLA's act ongoing at the moment. What some people see as a leeway for them, that is the option of fine, that is going to be out of it, meaning that you are in and you are in for it. There is no option of fine. And I'm sure you are aspiring to be somebody important tomorrow. You are aspiring to be a professor, to be a psychiatrist, a doctor, or even a governor. Your dream can only be achieved through hard work, through discipline. So stay focused and remain right on the right path. Don't ever succumb to pressure, or don't be deceived by those things you see out there. A lot of these things are just facades. They lead you to nowhere. So stay on the right path and avoid going into, being pressured into drug trafficking or being recruited by anybody as a mule under whatever guise of promise of lucrative benefits or whatever. Please, that's that.
Maybe subsequently, thank you so much. Maybe subsequently we'll bring somebody from the correctional centers to find out what really happens when people go to prison and return. Whether quality rehabilitation is actually happening there, or you go there and there you return differently. But
I still have somebody talking about rehabilitation. Yes, somebody asked a question about MDLA create. Okay, that 30 rehab centers, absolutely 800. That is 0800 10203040. 0800 10 20 30 40. If you call that line, it's toll free. You are not paying for it. The bill is on us, and it's 24/7 anytime.
But I'll give you 1 minute each for your final thoughts and comments. So maybe ladies first, right?
Yeah.
Let's begin with you.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful way, because everything in life has to start from advocacy, public awareness, and enlightenment. Because what you know, you can easily then say, okay, this is what I need to do.
That's right.
And we have a telemedicine platform called Harbody, HOWBODI. Harbody in Nigeria, know what it is. It's on Google Play Store and it's on web-based. Download it and even check yourself. Because when we're talking about mental health, let's not take it like a side talk anymore. Download it and check whether you have anxiety, depression, even if you are dealing with substance. How far gone are you? Because at the end of the day, in as much as we want to talk about parenting, let's go back to intentional parenting. Let's create safe spaces for people to be able to speak up and speak out and get the help that they truly need. Please create a healthy support system.
More than 1 minute
and most importantly, follow your dreams.
All right.
It's very important.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Dr. May. Heidi Kabasa. So, you want to sing it in a song?
So I think we should pay more attention to our mental health. Yeah. We should know that when they say you should go and check your mental health, it doesn't mean you are mad.
Exactly.
Then the second one is our approach to advocacy needs to change. I think one of the young guys here mentioned that once you tell me not to do,
then I want
to do. So we need to go from the place of do or don't to why. Why something should not be. Because I think if we can focus more on that, then the criminalization or trying to punish people for these things, we need to reconsider it. You can criminalize and punish the people that are selling. But in terms of people that really need genuine health, that their mental health is calling for these things, we might need to find a way around it. Yeah.
Mr. Wafemi.
Okay, my own will be just taking off from where I did stop. That is the why. Now, the reason why you should not experiment with illicit substances is the fact that once you go in there, you only know when you go in, you may not be able to determine when you come out. It's not a walk in the park. So what works for you is to avoid total abstinence. Avoid it. Don't ever fall for peer pressure or anybody saying, let's experiment. There is nothing like experimentation. The moment you start the experimentation, then you want to do, and from there you want to go on, you want to add another one, and then you go in for it, and some people may never recover. So please, for the young people out there, let's avoid the idea of experimentation or going into substance abuse, because you may never recover from it. Thank you.
In short, don't travailler, right? Mr. Babafebe, Dr. May Adigabasa, thank you so much for bringing so much quality to this conversation. Once again, can we put our hands together for them? And a big thank you to our very vibrant audience. We have officials of the NDLEA and students from University of Lagos. Thank you for coming. It's Vows Day, everyone. It's important that you celebrate this specially with no illicit substance, no smoking, no pills. Try to, make today different. And that's a wrap, everyone, on the third edition of TVC Townsquare. Our conversation today wasn't just about numbers. We unpacked culture, youth, and the realities behind the war against drug abuse. We have now challenged assumptions, confronted contradictions, and heard from those on the front lines, from policy to pop culture to mental health. Remember this, fighting the war isn't just about arrests or headlines. It's about brains, choices, environment, and accountability. Yours, mine, and all of us. Keep asking the hard questions. Keep the conversation alive on all of our social media platforms. Keep demanding change. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again at the Townsquare.